Hey y'all, and welcome back to Wagon Homestead. So, for starters, I have not posted a video in a while. I'm sorry. I got a lot of things that I'm working on behind the scenes right now. I can't really say anything because I have a lot of little projects going on, but I'll definitely fill y'all in once it's time. Another thing, my Christmas collection for my candles are out on my website, wagamocandles.com. Go ahead and go check those out. And I also will be running a Cyber Monday sale, so the Monday after Thanksgiving. But just wanted to put that out there, and I am working on restocking. I'm still trying to get everything restocked, and it is a lot. So, also some supply issues, so things are still being delayed, which really sucks. But I'm doing what I can, and I promise I'm going to get everything restocked as soon as I can. Now, for today's video, we will be discussing what I have learned from this year, some high points and some low points of this year's growing season. So, let's jump into the video. For starters, I'm sitting in my dining room, so here, right there. Right there are the Jewel June bearing strawberries. And right over there on that trellis are the peas. The peas are still good. The collard green that's out here too, it's in front of this patio warmer, so you guys can't see it. But the collard greens are doing great. Those are very, very hardy plants. The peas are good. The strawberries are good. And the collard greens out back are good too. So the biggest thing that I learned this year is I have a serious light problem. My house is in the way, our neighbor's house is in the way, our garage is in the way, our two giant trees that we have are in the way, and the shed is in the way. So, no matter where I put things, I'm always going to have a light issue, and it has increasingly gotten worse over the years because the trees are growing. So, I need to save up money and get the trees trimmed down for next growing season. It is way too expensive to get them removed, at least around here where I live. It's really hard to find someone reasonably priced to get trees removed. So I'm just going to save up and get them trimmed down a lot. And that will definitely help the light issue. Now, of course, I'm always going to have an issue with the trees until they're removed. But if I can get, 80 feet trimmed off, that'll do it justice right there. That'll help so much. So definitely something I'm going to work on and save up for. That way we can get that done, in theory, hopefully before we plant next year. The other biggest thing that I have learned, and it was my biggest issue, I'm trying to adjust the camera. Okay, that works. The biggest thing is the soil that I bought is absolutely terrible. And we're never using that again. I used the Stay Green from Lowe's, and it was in a blue bag. It was the mulchiest soil I think I have ever worked with. And it really showed how terrible it was. Plants weren't sucking up all the nutrition that they needed because it was getting soaked into the wood, and same with the water. So that was a huge problem that I had this year. So it really shows you do get what you pay for. And I did everything that I knew that I could do, and still didn't work out. So next year we are not using that soil. And come hell or high water, I'm not using that again because I've never had this many issues before. And, I've been growing for years and years and years. Now, I never fully dived into it until last year when COVID hit, because, the stores were empty, and I'm like, I gotta grow more food than, a few pepper plants and tomato plants. I got to do something. Because, I've never seen grocery stores like that before. And it was an eye-opener. So last year, I tried, and then this year, I'm like, I'm going all in. We're expanding this year. I want to plant more, And I did plant more. So the biggest thing, the best thing this year was honestly the pears. The pears did so good. I harvested 200 pears, and there was at least another 20 or 30 left on the tree that just we were not reaching. That was amazing. We've never harvested that many pears before, and it was so exciting. I gave a lot of pears away to my clients, to my family. I made cider. It was so much fun, and I definitely hope we get a lot more next year. Now, will we get 200? Probably not, but if I can still have a huge harvest again, that would be great. And I'm saying we probably won't get that much next year because we did trim a lot of the branches down. Some of the branches did break due to the weight from all of those, so we did trim it up, clean it up. So next year, sure, there's going to be a lot more climbing to get to the pears, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. It was actually pretty fun to climb the tree this year. I haven't climbed a tree since I was like 8 or 10 years old, so that was fun. So the pears were like the best thing. The worst thing this year was my tomatoes. And light was definitely an issue. And also the soil. And my tomatoes. My tomatoes definitely suffered from that. And it was actually really sad because I've been growing tomatoes for, oh man, I don't even know, since I was 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there. Somewhere. And I'm 24 now, so I've been growing tomatoes for years. I've never had this many issues before. And it was honestly like really depressing for me because tomatoes are my favorite. I was so excited to have my own homegrown tomatoes this year to make sauce. And I didn't. Now, thankfully, I actually went to a farmer's market because I've never truly been to a farmer's market before, so it was nice to buy local tomatoes that were homegrown because store-bought tomatoes really do taste differently, and if you don't believe me, do a taste test. I'm telling you, they taste completely different. But yeah, so the tomatoes were the worst. The other thing that I'm trying to think. The pumpkins were rough too. I mean, at first they were doing really, really well. I mean, and we did get a lot of Jack B. Littles, but the squash bugs took over, the powdery mildew took over, and this was my first year growing pumpkins, and that was a struggle. So I think what I'm going to do is start them inside under my grow lights that I just got for the tree and the herbs. And I think I'm just going to start them earlier, keep them in a little bit longer, just to try to get the most of a harvest because, wow, that was rough. And like, I mean, yes, there were some squash bugs. I'm like, okay, it's not too bad. And then once the mildew hit, I was done. And it was like that with the zucchini too. And then we had a zucchini and it disappeared. And then we had another zucchini and that disappeared. I have no idea where the zucchini went. It was not ready to pick. None of us picked it. So I don't know where it went, but either way, it was gone. We didn't get any zucchini this year, which really sucked. But definitely learned that squash is finicky. And powdery mildew really hits quick, and it hits hard, and so do the bugs. Yeah, so tomatoes didn't do well. Pumpkins didn't do well. And I don't think pumpkins were a light issue. I honestly think it was just the mildew and the bugs. Which, whatever. I will say I did order the Baker Creek 2022 seed catalog. And I'm super, super pumped about that. You can sign up and get a free one. I decided to buy the huge one this year because I really like want to see everything. And I also saw some really cool tomatoes on their website that I want to grow for next year. Do I need any more tomato seeds? Absolutely not. I don't need any more tomato seeds, but it's fine. We'll get some more and eventually we'll use them. Hopefully. Another thing that I learned this year is the importance of timing everything correctly for the fall garden. So I was not able to get Brussels sprouts or broccoli started in time. The only reason why I have the collard greens is because I bought them as starts right in the middle of summer. And I'm like, okay, these are going to chill out inside until it cools down some, because I did not want to risk them bolting and going to seed and not being able to harvest, the big leaves. I've never had greens before, and I'm actually really, really excited to harvest the greens and make some. For those of you who may not know, I love Southern cooking, I love Southern food, I love Southern culture. It really does speak to me, but I've always loved Southern food. Like fried green tomatoes, sign me up, please. Pecan pie, absolutely. Like, I'm obsessed with Southern food. It's like my comfort food. And I just tried a new recipe, and you guys should totally try it out. It's so good. It is Paula Deen's Savannah red rice recipe. It's so freaking good. I wanted to try it, and I wanted to try it for months now. And, finally convinced Joe. I said, that's what we're eating for dinner. And he was like, I don't know what that is. Well, I made it. I was in love. He wasn't the biggest fan of it, but for me, like, that's my new comfort food. So I'm going to be making that a lot. But that was awesome. So the other thing that I learned this year too is I need to be on top of the garden a little bit more with watering, and I really need to be up with trellising things and staking tomatoes and anything else that needs staked. I need to be on top of that better next year. I felt like this was the first year that I did pretty well with keeping up with it, but there were a lot of things that I still failed at. So it is something I need to work on, and hopefully next year I can get better and just keep on top of it. I mean, we're not going to be perfect. There are times where we're just going to let the garden go because we're over it. It's August, the weeds are out, it's crappy, it's hot out, it's humid, and that's about when I started to be like, I'm staying inside. It's fine. Because I can see it. But the other thing that I learned too is I need to make a lot more compost. Because I will say what is it? The horse trough that I put, the first horse trough, I put all the compost in, and that did the best. So I definitely need to make more. And I do have more. It is composting right now. It's that bucket right there. So it is doing well. But I definitely need to make more. I need to find more space to do so. So we can do that. Because there's a huge area that I'm going to cover for next year. And I want to make sure that I'm able to do this. So... And the other biggest thing that I learned too is that it's okay to not grow everything that I want to the first year. I got really discouraged because I couldn't grow everything that I wanted to, but I also don't have the space to grow everything that I want. So my advice is to grow what you can, and it's okay. It's perfectly fine. There's always next growing season. It's fine. Yeah, so it was a hard year for me growing. I mean, I still got harvest. I still got some peppers. I got some strawberries. I got a lot of pears. I got 2 tomatoes, some beans, some pumpkins. So I am grateful for what I had. I just wish it was better. So obviously I need to fix lighting to the best of my abilities. And I need to fix fertilizing and do that properly. And I think then it'll be okay. So I will be making a video of what I plan to grow next year. And that'll be a video whenever I get my seed catalog and I look at it, because I want to have a plan before I make the video. But thank you guys so much for jumping into today's video. I appreciate everyone who has definitely made it this far, because we're at almost 16 minutes. Don't forget to go check out the candles, and I will see you all later. Bye.